Good afternoon, YouTube. Well, quick update before we get to the USA game at 2 o'clock. Nigeria lost to Argentina 1-0, and South Korea won their game 2-0. So South Korea is in first place in their group B by the way of goal differential, which is one of the tiebreakers. Now then, and of course, as you all know, 2 o'clock is the big game. This video is about, well, here's what it's about. Ready? We're going to talk about morals. Now, I know there was a video that was done by Pocket Mega a while back about game collecting morals. This isn't about that. This is going to be used in a different light altogether. Let me paint the picture. In the 1980s, the early 1980s, like let's say I was about 3 years old when this happened. I was born in 81, alright? So this was in 1984. There was a game show, and can we? Yeah, probably. The name of the game show was Press Your Luck. Now, on the show, the objective was to try and win as much money as you possibly could without hitting this red devil character called the whammy. If you hit it, it took all your money and left you flat broke. But you could try and win it back from him, you just couldn't win all the prizes that he took from you. Well, an ice cream truck driver named Michael Larsen went on the show after he claimed to have studied one particular pattern on the game board, the way the selector lights would be flashing. So he figured out how he could land on only the squares with the money, and that's it. Okay? On his first spin, he whammied out, but after that, it was on like Donkey Kong. And he eventually, when it was all said and done, took the show for $110,237. $110,237 in cash and prizes. And get this, the network that show aired on, which shall remain nameless, at one point, A, was going to refuse to let him on the show because they considered him creepy. And then after he won the money, they almost didn't want to give it to him because they believed he had cheated. What is so wrong about memorizing a pattern of the... Look, it's not, well, yeah, I won't get into the whole time, but the way to look at it is like this, right? Here's going to be the question, because after he won the money, after he memorized the 1 out of like 6 patterns, the network decided that they were going to make the computer run 36 patterns, making it impossible for someone to do what Michael Larsen did again. The network that shall remain nameless was so embarrassed by what happened that after they ran the episodes one time on the show, they refused to air them again. The next time they would be seen is on what is called the Larsen Scandal big bucks. This was used to promote the revised version of the show, Whammy, the all-new Pressure Luck, which was hosted by Todd Newton, who's a man who can't host a show out of a paper bag. Now, and that computer is so random that it's impossible for anyone to memorize anything. Although I think that show's now off the air, if I'm not mistaken, somebody can correct me in the comments. Here's going to be the question for YouTube. Who was morally in the right, and who was in the wrong as far as the quote scandal goes from Pressure Luck? Was it the network, who didn't want to even let him on the show in the first place, and then after he won the money, didn't want to give it to him because they believed he cheated? Or was it the person? Was it Larsen for actually doing something nobody else attempted to do and memorized one of the patterns? Shock horror. If you want my opinion, it's the network. Here's the reason. You generally want to give your contestants a chance to win money, okay, and usually lots of it, because that's what they go on for. To be if you want to be realistic, that and maybe their 15 minutes of fame. Well, when you refuse to, when you want to refuse to allow somebody on a game show, and they didn't, and here's what's even worse. When the special was aired, and by the way, you can find it on YouTube now, the way they made Larsen seem was like some creepy old guy that, you know, was like a fucking pedo. No, he was a guy that figured out your secret, and he figured out how to ass rape you for the money and the prize. That's what he did. And you don't want to give him the money because you feel that memorizing a pattern was cheating. So then you make it so that nobody can do what he did. And even when we get to the revised version, they make the computer, quote, Larsen proof. If anything, I would have ran that episode into the ground. You know why? Because had the network done that, that show might have lasted longer than 3 seasons. That's my opinion. But what's yours? What's your point of view on the matter? Should the network have wanted to refuse to give him the money in the first place? Or better yet, should they have been allowed to refuse him onto the show for whatever stupid reason they had? Or do you think they should just gave him the money outright without questioning anything? And by the way, if you need to know exactly what I'm talking about, if you go on YouTube, type in Pressure Luck Scandal, and it'll have the entire video up, the entire special up somewhere. And go and watch it. And if you need to watch that, then come back and talk to me about it. Alrighty, gang. I will see you at 2 o'clock when hopefully, I guess I'm going to say it, hopefully the U.S. kicks the shit out of the Jack. You have a good one.